Hello, good day. We are the group number 3 from the BSIC 1B, and today we will be discussing the lesson number 2, which is the sexual self. My name is John Renan G. Rosel, so without a further ado, let's start.
So, biological. The structure and functions of reproductive system is essential to the understanding of sexuality. In the nervous system, it is the brain that initiates and organizes sexual behavior through the process of sexual reproduction. The next generation of human beings are created by the fusion of the egg cell and sperm cell. So first, what is reproductive system? The reproductive system is the human organ system responsible for the production and fertilization of gametes, also called as sperm or eggs, and carrying of a fetus. Mind you, both sexes go and produce gametes, sperms for boys and eggs for girls, while the nervous system controls and organizes the sexual behavior. At the start of puberty, changes that happen in the bodies of young males and females are both secondary and primary sexual changes. The secondary sexual changes and physical changes that distinguish the male from females, while primary sexual changes happen during the course of puberty that prepare the male and female's body for procreation. During the process of puberty, girls' and boys' physical appearance is starting to change and the way they behave as an individual. For girls, they develop their breasts and start their periods, while the boys develop a deeper voice and facial hair will start to appear. This is the list of secondary characteristic during the puberties of both male and female. Male voice becomes much lower. It breaks. Hair growth on chest, face, underarms, arms, legs, and pubic area. Increase in muscle size. Skin becomes oily and pore and large. While female, breast enlarge, hair growth, underarms, and pubic area. Hip widens, skin becomes oily, and pores enlarge. Same with boys. Then testes, penis, and primary sex characteristics is testes, penis, scrotum, seminal vesicles, and prostate glands. With girls, ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, and vagina. So the average age for girls to begin puberty is 11. Um, for the boys, is average age is 12. Here, the first sign of puberty in girls. The first sign of puberty in girls is usually that their breasts begin to develop. It's normal for breast buds to sometimes be very tender or for one breast to start to develop several months before the other one. Pubic hair also starts to grow, and some girls may notice more hair on their legs and arms. While the boys, first sign is usually that their testicles get bigger and the scrotum begins to thin and redden. Pubic hair also start to appear at base of the penis. Classifying sexual terminologies. The word sex is defined from the Latin word secare, which means to divide, while the sexuality means to unite. Thus, it can be seen that the two words have opposite meanings. Rosenthal 2013. So, deeper meaning for sex. The meaning of sex is described as the gender of another or the physical act of sexual activity or intercourse. If you at the word sex, based on the physical meaning, and ask question, has the word sex has been misused when it comes to capturing the true making of meaning of making love? If we talk about the action of having sex, then we need to look at what comes before this. As summer over history, we have forgotten the foundation of sex has been built. We have made our physical desires more important than the true love and connection with another. This shift results in the kind of sex that leaves us with the feeling that sometimes is missing in the intimacy we share of our relationship. Lack having may feel like performance or routine instead of sharing something that leaves both parties feeling more connected to each other. Next is while sexuality. Your sexuality can play an important role in your identity and sense of self. Sexuality often refers to a person's sexual orientation or preference. Your sexual orientation is who you are emotionally, mentally, and physically attracted to. Another information about sexuality. Sexuality can also refer to a person's capacity for sexual feelings more than the need to reproduce. Sexual drive is an important part of human emotional expression and deep connected with another. Adolescent Adolescence is a period of sexual exploration and experimentation, which includes sexual fantasies and realities. Thus, sexuality can be incorporated into the adolescent's identity. So, more deeper meaning for adolescence. Adolescence, transitional phase of growth and development between childhood and adulthood. During adolescence, issues of emotional, if not physical, separation from parents arise. While this sense of separation is a necessary step in the establishment of personal values, the transition self-sufficiency pers- forces an array of adjustments upon many adolescents. Furthermore, teenagers seldom have a clear roles of their own in society, but instead occupy an ambiguous period between childhood and adulthood. An adolescent's sexual identity includes sexual orientation, either homosexual or heterosexual, his ability to manage sexual feelings such as sexual arousal and attraction, activities, interests, and style of behavior, and his capacity to regulate his sexual behavior to avoid undesirable consequences. Can deeper meaning for adolescent sexual identity. As a child, in the process of adolescence, the identity development is an ongoing process that generally includes the following milestones for sexual minority youth: same sex sexual attraction, same sex sexual experience, self labeling as non heterosexual, and disclosure to others. According to Santrock 2014, gender refers to the characteristics of people, males or females. It is the lead role as a boy or girl, man or woman, as a set of expectation that prescribes how females and males should think, act, and feel refers to the gender role. So gender is a social cultural. It's how your identity relates to society's idea of what it means to be a woman, man, neither, or a mix of many gender. For most people, their gender matches up with cultural expectation of the sex they were assigned at birth. This means they are cisgender. Other may self-identity as transgender, agender, two-spirit, genderqueer, non-binary, etc. Then, while the gender role, uh, what is the meaning of gender role? It is a way of appearing and behaving that mix cultural expectation based on the individual's gender. Traditionally, people have been expected to fit into either a female or a male gender role. Gender role has become a source of controversy and criticism, and many people have been sought to eliminate the need to adhere them. This is due to the perception that limit personal freedom, especially as the cultural understanding of gender was moved away from a strict separation between male and female. In the DSM-V 2013, the word and sexual refer to the biological indicators of male and female or having a capacity to reproduce. Gender assignment, or also called as natal gender, refers to the initial assignment as a male or female, which usually occurs, and at birth. So, another meaning for gender assignment, it is a social process by which children are labeled as girls or boys at birth at our society. So when the girl someone announces at the birth, it's a girl, that's a part of that girl's gender assignment. Then same as the boys.
At para ituloy ang ating pag-clarify sa mga sexual terminologies, ang susunod natin ay i-clarify ang gender assignment. Gender assignment denotes an official and usually legal change of gender. Ito daw ang official and legal na paraan para magpapalit tayo ng ating gender, ating pagpapalit ng gender. Next is ang gender identity. Gender identity is a category of social identity that refers to an individual's identification as male, female, or some category other than male or female. Ang gender identity daw ay ang pag-identify natin sa sarili natin kung ano ba tayo. Kung paano ba natin i-identify ang sarili natin, kung tayo ba ay lalaki, babae, or iba pang gender no sa ating society. Next is ang definition ng masculine and feminine. Masculine can be defined as the qualities and behaviors judged by a particular culture to be ideally associated with or especially appropriate to men and boys. So ang masculine daw, ito daw ay ang pagset ng society or ang sinet ng society na qualities and behavior para matawag ang isang lalaki na isang lalaki. For example, ang pagiging masculine, pwede natin masabi na malaki ang katawan, maganda yung tindig, something like that, no? Next is yung feminine. Feminine can be described as qualities and behaviors judged by a particular culture to be ideally associated with or especially appropriate to women and girls. Katulad lang din to ng pagkalalaki, no? Ito yung sinet ng society natin na kung gaano kababae ang isang babae, no? For example, sa ating society, kapag sinabing babae, mostly ang iniisip ng mga tao sila ay mainhin, sila ay dependent, and etc. No? Yun yung pinagkaiba ng masculine and feminine. Both silang sinet lang ng ating society or ng ating community. Next. Next is the definition of androgyny. Androgyny are those who have both masculine and feminine traits, feelings, and qualities. So, sa madaling salita, ang definition daw na androgyny ay taong merong masculine and feminine traits, feelings, and qualities. May mga tao kasing may side sila na may side sila na may pagkalalaki, may side sila na pagiging babae. So, sa isang tao, meron siyang feminine side and meron din siyang masculine side. Doon papasok ang definition ng androgyny. Next is yung asexual. Asexual are the persons who do not experience sexual drives or attractions to either sex. So, kung ating papasimplihin, ang definition daw ng asexual is mga taong hindi nagkakaroon ng sexual drives or attraction sa kahit na anong sex. So, kunyari, ako, for example, hindi ako na-attract or hindi ako nagkakaroon ng sexual desire sa kahit sino man tao, pwede kong i-identify ang aking sarili na isang asexual. Next is yung hypersexual. Hypersexual are persons with an excessive interest in sex to the point where it can cause problems in one's life. So yung hypersexual daw, mas kilala rin sa tawag na compulsive hypersexual disorder. Ito yung mga tao na sobrang into sex, no? To the point na naapektuhan ng kanilang ang kanilang sariling pamumuhay, no, na hindi maganda. Now, let us talk about the chemistry of lust, love, and attachment. Lust, love, and attachment. So, the chemistry of lust, love, and attachments, simulan natin to sa pag-define kung ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng attraction. Attraction is a characteristics that causes pleasure or interest by appealing to a person's desires or taste and causes one to be drawn to another or to other rather, no? So, yung attraction do, sa madaling salita, yung attraction, pwede natin siyang i-define kapag ikaw or ako is na-attract sa isang tao dahil sa isang attributes na meron yung isa pa. For example, na-attract ako kay ganito kasi ganito siya. Na-attract ako sa ganito kasi matango siya, mabait, matangkad, meron akong specific na katangian na nakita dun sa tao, kaya ako na-attract. So that is the definition of attractions. Now, human societies greatly value physical beauty. Sobrang malaking factor daw yung physical attributes or physical beauty sa mga tao. In a study conducted by Langlois et al. In 1987, kahit yung mga bata daw na hindi pa exposed sa cultural standards of beauty, is meron na silang sariling definition kung ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng beauty or ng kagandahan. When 2 to 8 months old infants were shown pictures of women faces that had been previously rated for their attractiveness, the infants spent more time looking at the faces of the ones which are rated to be more attractive. So sabi dito, no, mas tinignan daw ng matagal ng mga baby, ng mga 2 to 8 months old infants, yung mga babaeng rated na mas na attractive, no? Ganon din naman sa mga adults. In another study, adult subjects were asked to rate the attractiveness of a flash image of faces within 13 milliseconds. Though many of the participants reported that they only guessed their response, it shows that they were able to rate the attractiveness of the faces, which means the image of the beauty are processed automatically in the brain. No, kahit daw na 13 milliseconds lang nakita ng mga participants yung mga random faces na pinakita ng mga researchers, nagkaroon sila ng sarili nilang definitions nagkaroon sila ng sarili nilang idea or definition kung ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng beauty or ng attractive para sa kanila kahit na 13 milliseconds lang pinakita ng mga researchers yung mga pictures na yon. Next is love, emotion, or drive. Most romantic relationships begin with two individuals falling in love with each other. According daw yan sa singer na si Robert Palmer, when he compares love with addiction. So ito naman ay verified in a study in which 17 participants were madly in love, were asked to go to the lab and bring a picture of their loved one. So sa isang study, no, merong 17 participants na in love. So pinadala sila ng picture ng kanilang mga iniibig or ng kanilang loved ones dun sa lab na yon. So, nung tinignan ng researchers nung brain activity ng mga taong yon, ng mga in love, habang tinititigan nila yung pictures ng mga loved ones nila, merong brain activity na nangyayari sa kanilang mga utak. Ginamitan sila ng fMRI or the Functional Magnetic Resonance Imaging, which measures the neural activity of the brain. Yun yung sinabi ko na merong brain activity or neural activity na nangyayari sa mga brain nila habang tinititigan nila yung mga pictures ng kanilang loved ones. The results revealed that when participants gazed at a photo of their loved one, the results revealed that when participants gazed at the photo of their loved ones, regions in the brain were activated. Merong mga parts ng brain natin na na-activate habang tinitingnan natin or tinignan nila yung pictures ng kanilang loved ones dun sa experiment na yon. Those parts closely associated with the anticipation of reward and with focused attention. So yung parts daw yon na nag-activate sa brain nila habang ginagawa yung experiment na yon, related daw yung mga parts na yon sa mga region ng brains natin na associated with the anticipation of reward and with focused attention. This is the dopamine system in the brain, which is the same system involved in pleasure and addiction. So yung mga parts na brain doon na activate nung habang tinititigan ng mga taong yon yung picture ng loved ones nila, same system daw yon or same parts ng brain na involves kapag tayo ay nakakaramdam ng pleasure and addiction. Ayun to kay Fisher and et al. Na sa ginawa nilang study noong 2006. Kinconclude din nila na kesa i-define natin ang love as an emotion, or being in love can be defined or can be considered as a strong motivation, an addictive craving to be with another person. So, yung pagiging in love daw is rather i-define natin siya as an emotion or nararamdaman natin pwede natin siyang i-define mas mas maganda siyang i-define as a strong motivation or an addictive craving to be with the other person, or addictive feeling na parang gusto mo or gugustuhin mo lagi na kasama yung iniibig mo or yung taong mahal mo, ganun. Ayun. Unlike many emotions, love is not associated with any facial expression, and it is not focused on a singular word. The emotions associated with love, elation, anxiety, joy, fear may come and go, but motivation to be the beloved remains. So yun nga, no? Thus, early passionate love is not an emotion in and of itself. Rather, it is best characterized as a motivation or goal-oriented state that leads to various specific emotions such as euphoria or anxiety. So yung being in love daw is hindi siya specific emotion. Kasi unlike kapag galit ka, yun, emotion yun. Kasi ano yun ito dito, nakikita yun or nakikita yun sa yung facial expression, sa yung behavior kapag galit ka, kapag malungkot ka, ganun. Hindi ganun yung love. Kasi kapag in love ka, associated lang siya or connected siya sa mga feelings na kapag in love ka, pwede kang magalit, ito lang yung sinabi dito, pwede kang, wait, ah, pwede kang makaramdam ng elation, anxiety, joy, fear, at kung ano na pang feeling habang in love ka. So, pwede natin sabihin na pwede natin i-conclude na yung pagiging in love, hindi siya specific emotion. Isa lang siyang strong motivation na naglilid sa atin na makaramdam ng iba't ibang emotions kasi ganun naman ang love. May pahugot pa, no? Ayun. That's all. Bibigay ko na sa next reporter para ituloy itong reporting na to. Thank you.
So, lahat naman siguro tayo ay may iba't ibang definition ng love, di ba? Yung iba based on our experiences, sa mga nakikita natin sa movies, or sa mga kaibigan natin. At yung iba naman, yung na-visualize natin sa sarili natin. Regardless of how you define love, Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist and a well-known relationship researcher, has studied romantic love at sinabi niya doon na mayroong three phases ang romantic love. So the first one is lust phase. This is described as an intense craving for sexual contact. So, dito sa stage na to, mafe-feel natin na sexually attracted tayo sa taong yon. Dito natin mafe-feel na nagde-desire tayo ng sexual gratification sa partner natin. So, the second one is attraction phase. It is the period of time during which couples are infatuated and pursue a relationship. The energy and attention is focused on one particular person. So, dito sa phase na to, mafe-feel natin na parang umiikot yung mundo natin sa taong yon at makikita natin yung importance niya sa buhay natin. So, dito rin sa stage na to, gusto natin na lagi silang kasama. Dito tayo makakapag-isip ng maayos. Di tayo makapag-isip ng maayos kasi sila lang yung laman ng isip natin. Tapos, nakaka-feel tayo ng butterflies pag kasama natin sila. So, dun yun sa attraction phase. The third one is attachment phase. It is a long-term bond between partners. It is a feeling of security, comfort, and emotional union. So, dito naman papasok yung commitment. Mas nagiging committed na tayo sa taong to at mas nakaka-feel na tayo ng security. Andito na rin yung stage na we feel safe with this person. So, dito sa stage na to, yung mas mabigat at mas seryosong phase. Dito mas focus ka sa development and growth ng relationship nyo. So, dito naman tayo sa John Lee's love styles. According to John Lee, meron tayong 6 different categories kung paano magmahal ang mga tao. So, the first one is eros. Sounds like erotic and passionate. So, ito yung romantic love. Love is based on strong sexual emotional component. So, ito nga yung romantic love. So, ito yung typical na mafe-feel natin na para tayong nasa movies, andito yung mafe-feel natin mabilis yung heartbeat natin kapag naiisip natin yung taong yun. So, typical romantic love siya. So, the next one is agape. Ito naman yung this is altruistic and selfless love. So, ito naman yung selfless kind of love. Dito na papasok yung mga sacrifices na kaya natin gawin for that person. Yung parang alam mo yung sa kanila Jack and Rose. Ano bang title? Ng Titanic yon. 'Di ba parang dun makikita na meron silang ang love style nila ay agape kasi nandun yung nag-sacrifice nila, sinacrifice nila yung buhay ng isa't isa kasi mahal nila yung isa't isa. So, dun siya papasok. Parang ganun siya. Yun yung example niya. So, the third one is storge. This is love-related friendship and based on non-sexual affection. So, ito naman yung friendship kind of love. Ito naman yung nade-develop by discovering common interest with that person. Yun, peaceful lang siya. Wala siyang mali siya or anything. Parang kung paano ka magmahal sa kaibigan mo. Ang style na yun ay storge. The fourth one is ludus. For ludic lovers, love is a game, something for fun or entertainment. Ito yung game playing. Ito naman yung kind of love na parang di pa nila sineseryoso. Parang gano'n, nandun pa rin sila sa phase na parang talking stage. Meron pa silang ibang pwedeng kausapin or what. So, yun yung sa ludus. The fifth one is mania. This is characterized by an intense feeling which may lead to obsessive and possessive love towards the loved one. So, ito naman yung combination ng eros and ludus. According to Lee, mania is an obsessive, jealous, emotionally intense love style. So ito yung klaseng love na parang may possessiveness at insecurities. Makikita natin to sa mga teenagers, 'di ba? Mga parang kind of puppy love, yung meron pang insecurity kaya medyo magulo, may possessiveness, may mga gano'n. So, the sixth one is pragma. This is practical and business-like love. So, ito naman yung combination ng ludus and storge. Ito naman yung pragmatic, practical, mutually beneficial relationship. Ito yung parang arranged marriages na sinasabi, di ba? Yun yung pragma, parang kailangan beneficial yun, both parties. May makukuwang kapalit. May naiibigay na need para sa isa't isa. Yun yung pragma. So, dito naman tayo sa the triangular theory of love. So, love is made up of three components. First is intimacy, second, passion, and third is commitment. So, for the first one, intimacy includes desire to give and receive emotional closeness, support, care, and sharing. So, ang intimacy, yung mafe-feel mong attached ka na sa taong yon. Meron kayong nabubuong connection at napapalapit ka na talaga sa kanya. Meron na kayong closeness na sinasabi. Yan. The second one is passion, described as an intensely romantic or sexual desire for another person accompanied with physical attraction and physiological arousal. So ang passion naman ay yung mas malalim compared sa intimacy. Dito papasok yung infatuation, mga crushes, ganun. Pati na rin yung mga sexual relationships. So for the last one is commitment. Cold component of love, it is the decision to maintain the relationship through good times and bad times. So ito yung decision na ginagawa mo pag pumasok ka na sa isang relationship. Dito na rin yung mga responsibilities na gagawin mo as a partner. Dito na yung stage na masasabi mong di ka na naghahanap ng iba kasi committed ka na sa partner mo. So, yun yung commitment. So, Stenberg also describes several types of love based on the components. So the first one is liking or intimacy only involves emotional intimacy and has no passionate intention for long-term commitment, just a friendly relationship. Parang liking exists kung intimacy lang ang present. Ito yung nafi-feel mong gusto mo yung tao without passion and commitment. So, again, intimacy lang yung present doon. So the second one is infatuation or passion. Associated with a high degree of physiological arousal, there is only passion without commitment, usually called love at first sight, and may fade quickly. So for the infatuated love, dito naman passion lang yung present, tas absent yung intimacy and commitment. Under yun, ito yung mga crushes, ito yung may desire ka lang sa isang tao pero wala kang anything related to them. So, kagaya nga ng sinabi, mabilis siyang nawawala. Hindi ganun ka-solid yung foundation. No, dito sa infatuation. So, the third one is empty love. Involves only commitment, a relationship with no intimacy, passion. So, for the empty love, ang example nito ay unhappy marriage. Wala nang nararamdaman sa isa't isa. Contract of marriage na lang yung present. Tapos yung commitment, ganun. Wala nang intimacy at passion. Parang commitment na lang. Committed na lang kayo kasi may kontrata pa. So, again, ang example niya ay unhappy marriage. So, for the fourth one, romantic love, passion and intimacy. Combination of both passion and intimacy which may presented during the first phase of relationship, characterized by emotional intensity and sexual excitement. So, ito naman yung combination nga daw ng intimacy at passion. Dito nabubuo yung emotional bond yun sa isa't isa, pero walang commitment. So, yun nga, kagaya ng nasabi, nasa first phase of relationship yan. Masaya lang, gano'n. May passion pa siya at intimacy, pero hindi pa gano'n ka-solid or wala pa siyang commitment.
Hi guys, I'm Ina Maurice Nagat and I'm here to discuss to you the components of love according to Stenberg. First, first component is the liking or the intimacy. It involves emotional intimacy and has no passionate intention for long-term commitment, just a friendly relationship. So, ito yung love na nararamdaman natin or in-express natin sa ating friends kasi meron tayong same likings pero wala tayong nararamdaman na um, yung arousal, yung gano'n, wala tayong nararamdaman sa kanila. Just pure love na kasi may same vibes kayo, may same interests, gano'n. Second is infatuation or the passion. Ah, Second is infatuation or the passion. Associated with a high degree of physiological arousal, there is only passion without commitment, usually called love at first sight, and may fade quickly. So, itong infatuation, ito yung commonly na nangyayari sa atin kapag may pogi tayong nakita. Halimbawa, nasa isang mall ka tapos may nakita kang pogi. Feeling mo agad, na-crush mo agad siya, feeling mo mahal mo agad siya. Pero eventually, pag hindi mo na sila nakita, mawawala yung feelings na yon. Yung hindi, ito yung feelings na temporary lang. Next is empty love or commitment. It involves only commitment, a relationship with no intimacy and passion. So, eto naman, empty love, eto yung love na wala namang kayong pinagsamahan or wala namang same interest, same likings, yung gano'n. Yung wala naman, parang general, halimbawa, kapitbahay mo. O, love mo lang sila kasi kapitbahay mo sila. Yung parang walang kinalaman sa life mo. Ganon. And example na lang din yung halimbawa may katrabaho ka. Tapos hindi nyo naman, hindi nyo, hindi mo naman siya bet hindi naman kayo nagtugma as magkaibigan. So, nagtatrabaho kayo together kasi may commitment kayo, which is matapos nyo yung gagawin nyo sa work. Ganon. The next is romantic love or the passion and intimacy. Combination of both passion and intimacy which may be presented during the first phase of relationship, characterized by emotional intensity and sexual excitement. So, romantic love, eto na, yung nararamdaman natin sa mga boyfriend, asawa, or gano'n. Ito yung nararamdaman natin sa mga boyfriend or asawa natin or nyo. Wala pa naman akong asawa. Ito na yung may intimacy na kayo sa isa't isa and um, ito yung masasabi mong mahal nyo talaga yung isa't isa and ready kayo for commitment. It also involves nga daw yung emotional intensity and yung sexual excitement. Next is companionate love, intimacy, and commitment. It is more durable than romantic love and may grow over time. Next is fatuous love, passion, and commitment, experienced by couple who spent a short time in courtship and suddenly decided to get married. So, in-explain na. Next is consummate love. Passionate, intimacy, and commitment. Exists a healthy balance of passion, intimacy, and commitment shared by couples considered to be ideal for each other. So, ito na yung yung mga couples na matagal na talaga yung tumanda na talaga sila kasama ang isa't isa. Kasi, parang nag-click na sila sa isa't isa. Ganon, yung love nila nag-grow na. And na kapag compromise na sila para magkaroon sila ng healthy relationship. Next is the chemistry of love. The chemistry of love. Why do people fall in love? Bakit? From a biological perspective, there is a part of the brain that is active when people are truly in love. So, sa science, na-explain na yung chemistry of love na it involves chemical reactions sa ating brain and chemical changes. Ganun. Na hindi ito nabubuo through sa heart, ganon, yung dahil sa, yung hindi nararamdaman to through by heart, ganon. Several chemical substances in the body have been found to naturally influence the experience of love. First is dopamine or the DA and wait, no. Wait. So norepinephrine or the NE are neurotransmitter. Okay. First is the dopamine and norepinephrine or the NE are the neurotransmitter that are involved in mood, motivation, attention, and excitement. Drugs such as cocaine, amphetamines, and Ritalin raise the DA levels that lead to physiological reactions. So, ano nga ba ang dopamine? It is sometimes called the chemical messenger. DA plays role in how we feel pleasure. Kaya kapag nakaramdam tayo ng pleasure, gugustuhin na nating ulitin ito. DA affects movements, memory, and focus. Yung motivation din ng tao nag-i-increase kapag yung DA natin is at healthy level. Norepinephrine, norepinephrine together with adrenaline, it increases heart rate and blood pumping from the heart. It increases blood pressure and helps break down fat and increase blood sugar to provide more energy sa ating body. Second is serotonin. Second is serotonin is a second is serotonin. It is a neurotransmitter that has been associated with mood, obsession, sex, and sleep. The level of serotonin decreases during infatuation, which may cause obsession one feels during early phase of love. It is believed that passionate love generally lasts within 6 to 18 months. So, serotonin, ito yung nararamdaman natin na, serotonin, ito yung nagde-decrease kapag yung love mo is mababaw lang or yung infatuation love. Ganon. So, serotonin also stabilizes our mood, feelings, and happiness nga. Yun nga yung it is associated with our emotions. It enables brain cells and other nervous system cells to communicate with each other. It also helps sa sleeping, eating, and digestion ng ating body. So, next, phenyl. Tylamine. Next is phenylthylamine or the PEA or P is a neurochemical that can increase the levels of DA or the dopamine and NE or the norepinephrine. Norepinephrine or this has been called love drug. Okay, ulit. Phenylthylamine or the PEA is a neurochemical that can increase the levels of DA, the dopamine, and NE or the norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. Okay. The next one is phenylthylamine or the PEA is a neurochemical that can increase the levels of dopamine and norepinephrine. Okay, next. Okay, the next one is phenylthylamine or the PEA. It is a neurochemical that can increase the levels of dopamine and The next one is phenylthylamine or the PEA. It is a neurochemical that can increase the levels of dopamine and norepinephrine. This has been called love drug. High levels of this substance High levels of this substance has been associated with love and orgasm. Studies suggest that PEA levels decrease within 18 months to 3 years during breakup. PEA is low. Chocolates have high levels of PEA. Ano nga ba ang phenylthylamine? It is taken orally for improving mood and attention. So, nagde-decrease daw to over time. Within 18 months to 3 years. So, bumababa daw yung PEA kapag nasa breakup na kasi parang nawawala na yung love and affection mo sa jowa mo. Ganun. Next is oxytocin and vasopressin. Wait lang. Next, Next is oxytocin and vasopressin. These are the neuropeptides released from our pituitary gland. Orgasm increases levels of oxytocin, promoting a desire to be with their partner and enhancing the pair bond processing. Vasopressin is also important in pair bonding and social behavior memory formation as well as blood pressure. So, kapag nag-orgasm daw tayo, or kapag may orgasm, or kapag daw nag-increase yung orgasm natin, yung oxytocin, lalong nag-i-increase din. Kaya, nagkakaroon tayo ng, nauudyokan tayo na magkaroon pa ng um, it boosts our pair bonding process. Okay. Oxytocin Oxytocin is also a hormone that acts on organs in the body and as chemical messenger in the brain, controlling the reproductive system and aspects of human behavior. So, yung oxytocin, responsible din siya sa orgasm ng isang tao. Kasi, under niya rin yung responsible din kasi yung oxytocin, kasi yung oxytocin, oxytocin is responsible din sa ating reproductive system. Next is endorphins. Endorphins, named for endogenous. Next is endorphins. Endorphins, named for endogenous morphine, the body's natural opiates, similar to the man-made drugs morphine and heroin. If the long-term relationship is continuous, endorphin may increase. Being separated from beloved can make you lovesick like an addict. So, endorphins, ito yung nararamdaman daw natin kapag masyado na tayo, ito yung chemical na responsible na sa feelings natin na kapag masyado na tayo na-attach sa ating partner. Kaya, nagiging clingy tayo, gano'n, sa ating partner. Kaya kapag nagkahiwalay kayo, parang lagi mo siyang mamimiss. Endorphins also relieves pain and creates general feeling of well-being.
So now I will be explaining the psychological theories that would explain why people fall in love. There are 3 theories. First, behavioral reinforcement theory. Second, physiological arousal theory. And third, evolutionary theory. So the first theory is behavioral reinforcement theory. The better the feelings associated with the behavior of a person, the more likely it is for the behavior to be repeated. So ang idea dito is, kapag nasasanay ka na mas tumitibay yung behavior, so more likely na paulit-ulit na. Like, example, pag nanligaw yung lalaki, diba? Pag nanligaw yung lalaki, bibigyan nila ng, ng regalo yung babae, i-date nila sa labas, like kakain sila kung saan, then magagala sila kung saan-saan. Hanggang sa babae naman, nasanay na sa ginagawa ng lalaki, kaya marirealize niya na, yung iba, ang ginagawa nila, sinasagot na nila yun. So, yun. Second theory is physiological arousal theory. The body experiences a physiological change first, then people assign an emotion to that physical sensation. It is based on the interpretation of the brain. So, ang halimbawa dito is kapag may crush tayo, 'di ba? Kapag nakita natin siya, hindi natin alam yung gagawin natin, kinakabahan na tayo, ganun. Like, halimbawa, yung crush natin dyan, then, nasa harap natin siya, akala natin kakausapin tayo, pero dadaan talaga siya sa harap natin, ganun. Tapos yung reaction natin, grabe na yung kaba natin, ganun. Karamihan ganun eh. Hindi na natin alam yung ginagawa natin kapag nandiyan na si crush. So, yung idea doon, nagtatalo yung love and fear natin. Yun, kasi yung interpretation ng brain natin. The third theory is evolutionary theories. Love arose due to some sociobiological needs. Males tend to look for young, healthy females made to carry their offspring. Females prefer males who have the resources to support them and their offspring. So, yung mga lalaki daw mas tumitingin sa bata sa kanya. So, karamihan naman sa lalaki ganun, 'di ba? Tapos yung mga babae naman, mas tinitingnan natin yung mas matanda sa atin, ganun. Then, based on social psychological data from Central Year 2013, the factors that would determine with whom people fall in love are first, physical attractiveness, reciprocity, proximity, and similarities. Physical attractiveness. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, kapag na-attract daw tayo sa tao, mas una talaga nating tinitingnan is yung itsura niya ba, kung pogi ba siya or maganda. Ganun naman tayo, di ba? Then, second, reciprocity. People tend to like an individual who also like them. So, sa isang relationship, friends, family, partner, ang reciprocity daw ay tinatawag ding mutual feelings. Then, proximity. Proximity is being around anytime physically or virtually. So, yung example dito is yung mga LDR. Similarities. Similarities when it comes in same age, religion, education, race, physical attractiveness, intelligence, and socio-economic class. Same age, di ba once na maghahanap tayo ng kapartner natin, mas tinitingnan talaga natin yung karamihan ganun mas tinitingnan natin yung kasing edad lang natin, yung karelihiyon lang natin, yun, ganun. Next, according to Rosenthal 2013, he defines sexual orientation as a person's predisposition or inclination to one or both sexes. 1. Homosexual. Homosexual refers to a person whose sexual orientation is toward another of the same sex. So, ang homosexual daw, ito yung mga taong nagkakagusto sa mga kaparehas nila ng kasarian, like yung babae, lesbian. Yun yung mga taong nagkakagusto sa kapwa nila babae. Then yung gay, yung mga lalaking nagkakagusto sa mga kapwa nila lalaki. Yan, ganun. Then second, heterosexual. Heterosexual refers to the person whose sexual orientation is toward others of the opposite sex. Ito daw yung mga person who attracted in opposite sex, like male to female, female to male, ganun. Then bisexual, it is a person who may be sexually oriented to both gender. So, ito daw yung bisexual is a person who attracted to more than one gender, like male to male, female to female, male to female, female to male, ganon. Then yung pansexual daw is a person who attracted to people regardless of their sex or gender identity. Ito yung mga taong nagkakagusto sa kahit anong kasarian niyan. Basta bumibase lang daw sila sa personality. Yun, yung pansexual. Then, fifth is transgender. According to DSMV year 2013, refers to the broad spectrum of individuals who persistently identify with a gender different from their natal gender. Transsexual denotes an individual who seeks or has undergone a social transition from male to female and female to male. Ayun daw yung mga halimbawa, iba yung lalaki. Halimbawa kapag yung lalaki gusto niya na magpakababae na, yun yung mga nagde-dress na siya ng pambabae talaga. Yun, yung mga lalaki, yung mga babae naman gusto nang maging lalaki, nagsusuot na rin sila ng panlalaki talaga, ganun.
Good morning, everyone. I am Andrea May Arnaiven. Today, I will be discussing the sexually transmitted infections. Sexually transmitted infections, or STIs, are diseases that are contracted primarily through sexual contact with an infected person. First in our list is HIV/AIDS. Some people may not know, but HIV and AIDS are different from each other. HIV is a virus, while AIDS is a condition. If HIV is left untreated, it can lead to AIDS, but not all cases leads to AIDS. Although there are no cure for HIV, HIV can be controlled by proper medical care. The antiretroviral therapy, or ART, is a combination of medications that are used to prevent HIV from replicating. However, ART is not a cure. It just lowers the risk of HIV advancing to AIDS. The first AIDS case in the Philippines was reported in 1984. The highest recorded number of cases since 1984 was in May 2017 alone, with a record of 1,098 cases of HIV/AIDS. The second STI is the genital herpes. Genital herpes are caused by a large family of different strains of viruses or herpes simplex virus. The third STI is the genital warts, which is caused by human papillomavirus. These are very, very contagious and also affects the moist tissues of the genital area. The fourth one is the gonorrhea, caused by the bacterium Neisseria gonorrhoeae that thrives in the moist mucous membranes of the mouth, throat, vagina, cervix, urethra, and the anal tract. The fifth one is the syphilis, that are caused by bacterium Treponema pallidum. This disease starts as a painless sore. If left untreated, it can progress in 4 phases. The sores appear, skin rashes, a period that will last you several years, cardiovascular diseases, blindness, paralysis, or even death. The last STI is the chlamydia, that is caused by the bacteria Chlamydia trachomatis, an organism that spreads through sexual contact and infects the genital organs of both sexes. That ends our report and hope you had a good day.
Sa lesson number 2, the sexual self, napag-aralan natin ang perspective of human sexuality. Kung saan na-define natin, ang dinidefine natin, sarili natin, kung anong tingin natin sa isang individual. Doon pumapalo ang historical, kung saan sinisimbol ng penis ay isang lalaki. Kung babae naman ay di pwede magbasa, magsulat, kung saan kailangan nanganganak lang sila. O ang tawag sa kanila ay bearer of children. Sa Middle Age of 1450, women are labeled as temperess like Eve. Ang tingin lang sa mga babae ay isang Virgin Mary. In the Protestant Reformation of 16th century, 1483 of 1546, naniniwala sila na ang sexuality is natural part of life. Naniniwala si Martin Luther at John Calvin na reason ng sexual intimacy was to strengthen the physical emotion and bond between husband and wife. By 17th and 18th century, they had a positive marital sex and condom sex of outside marriage. Meron silang positive views. In Victorian era, sex for women are just a marital duty. Hindi siya lang basta sex. Duty siya ng isang babae mismo. Women are told not to enjoy sex. If they did, there was something wrong with them. Hindi nila basta pwedeng ma-enjoy yung sex. Bas, duty nila kasi mismo yun. Tapos meron din yung papaloob dun ay biological. Kung saan mapapag-aralan natin yung reproductive system is essential na understanding of sexuality. Kung saan sinasabi doon, ang brain ay nag-initiate and organize ang sexual behavior. At as through generation, napag-aralan din na exit ang sperm cell and mag-start sa puberty. Ano? Sa lesson number 2, the sexual self, napag-aralan natin ang perspective of human sexuality. Kung saan na-define natin, ang dinidefine natin, sarili natin, kung anong tingin natin sa isang individual. Doon pumapalo ang historical, kung saan sinisimbol ng penis ay isang lalaki. Kung babae naman ay di pwede magbasa, magsulat, kung saan kailangan nanganganak lang sila. O ang tawag sa kanila ay bearer of children. Sa middle age of 1450, women are labeled as temperance like Eve. Ang tingin lang sa mga babae ay isang Virgin Mary. In the Protestant Reformation of 16th century, 1483 of 1546, naniniwala sila na ang sexuality is natural part of life. Naniniwala si Martin Luther at Charles Calvin na reason of sexual intimacy was to strengthen the physical emotion and bond between husband and wife. By 17th and 18th century, they had a positive marital sex and condom sex of outside marriage. Meron silang positive views. In Victorian era, sex for women are just a marital duty. Hindi siya lang basta sex. Duty siya ng isang babae mismo. Women are told not to enjoy sex. If they did, there was something wrong with them. Hindi nila basta pwedeng ma-enjoy yung sex. Basta duty nila kasi mismo yun. Tapos meron din papaloob dun ay biological. Kung saan mapapag-aralan natin yung reproductive system is essential na understanding of sexuality. Kung saan sinasabi dun, ang brain ay nag-initiate and organize ang sexual